Welcome to the enLIGHTenUP podcast. I am your host, Nicole Frolick, and I invite you to cozy up with me each week as I explore all aspects of the spiritual journey, spiritual biohacking, and expanding the mind beyond this reality. Remember that the collective awakening can start by planting one seed, so thanks for being such an amazing audience and sharing these shows with your family and friends. So without further ado, let's jump right into the episode and find out what we're discovering today. Hey everyone, welcome back to the enLIGHTenUP podcast. Really glad to be back with you guys this week. I have a brand new guest here with me, Autumn Peterson from Galactic Activations, and she channels light codes through symbols, written words, spoken word, light language, and I've recently come across Autumn's work, and I'm so excited to bring her work to you guys. I hope that you guys follow her work. I feel like she's an important part of the awakening process here for humanity and all Starseeds. Autumn, welcome to the show.
Hello.
So good to have you here. For you guys in the audience, let me know if you guys are getting the feed through. I hope there's no video lag this time. But you know, I saw I guess you started following me on Instagram, and I saw you in my feed as someone who recently followed, and I was instantly pulled to your channel. For some reason, I intuitively was like, you need to go look at her page. And I went and looked at your page, and it was like, I instantly was like, oh my God, I need more. And your artwork is so incredible. Of course, for those of you guys who saw my Blue Avian video, Autumn is the artist who drew that for me. She channeled her artwork. So Autumn, you're doing some really incredible things. I'd love for the audience to get to know you a little bit more. And why don't you just let them know a little bit about yourself, your childhood, and how you kind of got to where you are right now?
Okay. Yeah. So it started off where I didn't know a lot of things. I was really naive, and I had to work through a lot of depression and social anxiety in school. I did terrible in school. I'd pick up on people's energy, very sensitive to that energy. So if someone was unbalanced or they were just having a hard day or whatever, I would pick up on that, and it would give me extreme anxiety. And just doing this, it gives me anxiety because I'm not used to communicating in this way, and I'm very shy. So I had to really work through that to get to this point. And I was really, really depressed at that time. And I had a lot of opinions from my family, what you need to be, how you should act. You should be going to school to be successful. But I always kind of had this intuitive knowing that going to school, doing the normal kind of thing wasn't for me, and that I needed to trust that. So at one point, I kind of had this breakthrough where I was just at the lowest point, and I realized it doesn't matter what anyone thinks or what people want me to be. I should just be who I want to be. And at that point, it actually kind of that energy was so strong that it actually pushed me to ask questions, question the system, question how things work. And that got me to ask about God and energy and spirit. I didn't have those words exactly. All I knew was God, that word for it. So I was asking everybody that I knew, what is God to you? Can you explain that to me? What does that mean to you? And how can that help me in my life? And everyone would kind of it's funny because when people would answer the question, it was sort of like a program. like an automatic answer. They would just say that someone had taught them to replay that answer, and it was like not really like coming from their heart. It wasn't really coming from that space, that so it didn't connect with me. And I was like, okay, that doesn't really resonate. The religious form of how they explained it. And so I'm like, doesn't it consist of more love, like unconditional love? Shouldn't it be loving the creator? And so I kept asking and asking until my mom finally got sick of me asking, and she said, maybe it's something like energy. And I don't even know if she knew what she was saying. She just said it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, that makes sense. It just resonated. And so I looked into that. I looked into what energy was, and that just like moved me into seeing different videos and things where they were talking about consciousness and channeling and all those things. My grandma actually got me into to listening to Cryon.
Yeah.
And then my brother showed me this video of it's called Spirit Science, like talk about different subjects of like channeling and crystals and different things. And I thought it was very interesting. I'd binge watch it every second I could just to absorb that information. And and at that point, so I was just like at a seeking point. I was just seeking. And I went to a reader, and she had kind of like showed me. It's kind of hard to explain, but yeah, it's hard to put into words. But I had a lot of healing from that experience with her, because it was positive and yet it was very negative at the same time. It was very positive before I started channeling, but it was after I started channeling that I had troubles with that. So I'll get into that in a minute, but
Okay. Yeah. So,
yeah.
I think what's really important here, and to let everyone know, Autumn's going to be doing a light language transmission for all of us, and activation codes to come through towards the end. And I'm going to show you something that you guys I guarantee you haven't seen anything like it before. It's very activating. But, what I think a lot of people can relate to is that need to feel like you can't be yourself, or you're not going to be accepted, and it shuts down a lot of the intuitiveness, or you feel like there's something wrong with you because of it. And for everyone out there, just so, because I know you guys are like such a supportive audience, I love you guys so much. This is the first time Autumn's really kind of put herself out there on a channel other than her own stuff. So, and you're only 23, which is so amazing. I love that. I wish I had started when I was 23. So you're getting like a really good head start here. But let's kind of go into the first time you connected with your first guide, because that was a pretty profound experience for you.
Yeah.
What was that like? And I know you got a name and everything. Can you share that with the audience?
Yes, yeah. So with that, I had been watching Bashar videos and channeling and stuff, so I couldn't sleep that night, and I was like, I could feel all this energy around, and so I thought, well, I'm going to just do a meditation and see what happens. And I had the thought, and I'm like, maybe I should channel, like, if this person can channel, why can't I? Might as well try it and see what happens. And I didn't really go into it expecting anything. I just felt like I could do it. And I closed my eyes and went into the meditation, and pretty much immediately I started to feel this energy rush through my body. I started seeing colors. My eyes were like twitching, and my legs were shaking. It was very strong. And at one point, I could feel this being's present in the room, and I could feel him there. I was like, okay, this is so real. I don't know what to do with that. I was super excited though, but it's like you almost can't wrap your mind around what's happening, because you're feeling their consciousness within you, like their consciousness right there. And it's like you're not separated from that consciousness. It's just like a part of you, an extension of yourself. And I felt like it was very familiar, but it was also foreign at the same time. And the first thing he said is like, "Wow, this is really familiar," and I was like, "Wow, like this is crazy," and and mostly like the first part, I was just feeling, I was just experiencing it, and I got as soon as he stopped talking, and I was just absorbing the information and what had just happened. I ran upstairs to tell my brother because there was no one else in the house to to tell, and I was so excited. But I
So where
realized
was,
at that point,
oh,
yeah, you don't
where
just
was he
tell anybody.
from? Where was, oh yeah, okay, well
Yeah,
yeah, because I'm sure your brother is like, what are you talking about?
yeah, he's a crazy person.
So where did this guide, like what was this guide's name? What did they tell you?
Okay, so he told me his name's Asasi, and he told me where he came from, but it was only once, and I couldn't remember. Like he never told me after, like the exact where you came from. So uh, that was always kind of like a mystery.
Was
um,
it was it in this solar system or this
no,
universe? It was somewhere else?
yeah, I think it was entirely somewhere different.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, but after a while of connecting with his energy, it didn't take long, like to really like notice how connected I was with his energy. And at first, I didn't dare ask because I thought maybe I was like lonely or something, and like there's something wrong with me. Like, why would I feel this connection with this being so strongly? Um, and I realized that he was my twin flame, and so I asked him, I'm like, "Are you my twin flame?" And all he did was smile, and I felt this again, like through emotion, through feeling. Uh, I felt all of our lifetimes together, all of our experiences together, and um, I just knew who he was, and I started bawling. It was just crazy, that connection, and you never forget it because it's just intense, and you never love like that. Like it's like not a normal like kind of love.
No, it's not. It really isn't. It goes well beyond what we're taught here.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
very well beyond. So, where did that take you?
So he told me after talking about it, he told me that we would eventually meet in the physical, and I believed him, and I trusted that. But also at the same time, you kind of have those background fears, like what if this isn't real? What if this isn't actually going to happen? And I had a lot of synchronicities happen to where through a reader, she had told me how I would meet him and where I would meet him. And so later on, like this took like 7 years. So to get to the point where I actually physically met him, and I did. And Asasi had told me that it would do something with like the full moon. It would be connected to the full moon and being under the full moon in that energy. And the lady had told me, the reader, that we would meet at a Bashar event. And in fact, at the Bashar event, one of the things that was part of the event was about a full moon meditation. And I had drawn a picture before that of us together and what it would look like. And I was just like visualizing that and drawing it. And then I actually was sitting in the audience. And like, it really feels like he's here physically. It really feels like that. So strong. Like it's more than normal. And I'm like, I wonder if he's here, because I had been told that, and I'm like, but I don't want to get my hopes up. And and so I was actually just standing there, and he had come up to me and started talking to me, and we went out to look at the stars that night, and it was under the full moon again. It had to do with the full moon again, and in fact, like the drawing that I drew looked just like him. long black hair and looked just like him.
That's
It was
so
crazy.
wild.
Yeah, and Associate actually told me what he looked like. That he would have dark hair and it would be long, and the color of his skin and everything. It was crazy. So
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
and we had
And
an instant connection, instant. So we both knew.
that's powerful. And you guys are still together.
Yes, yes,
That's amazing. So your first guy that showed up was your twin flame. That's
yes.
pretty amazing. That's pretty powerful. So do you have, you know what, since just before we go away from that, do you have a message for anyone out there in the audience who's maybe connected to their twin flame, whether it's in 3D or only the 5D? Like, do you have any advice
Mhm.
or like a message for them on that? Because
Yeah.
it's a difficult journey for
I
many.
yeah, this is something that I had to work through too. And it was very difficult actually at times. Not, and it wasn't always really easy. So one thing that I would say is don't give in to fear and don't let people tell you what is possible. Uh, don't don't believe that. Don't buy into that belief that it's not possible. And don't isolate it into one way it can happen. That's a mistake I think a lot of us make, is that we think it has to look this way and that it can't look like anything else. And if you're just open and you love that being, you feel that energy, and just be present with it instead of putting on a label, or
Hmm.
saying that it has to be like this or it's not possible for me.
Hmm.
You have no idea what's possible for you. It's like anything can happen. And so I would say the less fear that you have and more creativity that you express and visualizing it and seeing it as actually happening, I think uh, when you really feel that intuitively, like something is going to happen, you can create anything.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think that's how I created it. Is it wasn't just because someone told me it was going to happen, and it wasn't just because I had a saucy actually come through, but because I believed it, because I
Yeah.
had a certain amount of belief, and not just enough for it to actually happen in my life.
Hmm. You were a willing participant in the creation
Yes.
process. Yes, and I think that's really important, very important. Very good advice. Very good advice. All right, so okay. So last week, you guys, Autumn did a reading for me, and it was incredible. I had an incredibly healing experience with her. Especially towards the end when the guides came through to asked me to be very vulnerable and just open my heart. And it was the first time I was, here's the thing, actually, I don't know if I mentioned this on my last video, but it was the first time I was able to interpret light language, like actually get the message. And so, oh wow, that I didn't, it's so crazy how much happens. I don't even realize what's happening when it happens. But I now understand how to get the message through light language, which is amazing. So them doing that, though, they really tuned into the healing that I have been going through with my inner child, which I don't need to rehash. You guys have all watched the videos. And that was really beautiful. And I can't thank you enough for that. But after the reading, you and I were talking, and you had the most incredible ship experience where you saw all these ships over your home. Do
Yeah.
you want to, can you share that story? Because I'm so glad we talked about that, because I'm like, oh my God, my audience is going to want to hear about this.
Yes. So actually, I was standing in my backyard, and I'm always looking up, like I'm always looking up at the sky. I want to see like what's there. Like everyone's always looking down, so I'm like I'm gonna look up instead. And I was doing that all the time. So I was standing outside and I was just looking up at the sky and enjoying myself. And then I see this disc-shaped ship start flying above my head, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a UFO. And then I saw another one, and then another one, like maybe like three ships going, and I'm like, okay, I gotta follow these. I gotta go see where it goes. And I run through the house, and I tell my whole family, like, look, there's a UFO outside. You gotta see this. And so, um, my two sisters, my mom, and me ran outside, and we were standing on the sidewalk, and we're looking up, we're watching the little ones going, and then off to the left, I see this huge looking holographic ship that I cannot describe into words. It had spheres, it had different shapes, colors I may have never seen before. It was mind blowing, kind of, just to see that. And not only that, kind of energetically, like I could feel it. Like I was like, oh my gosh, this means something. This means a very significant shift in my life and for the world. I think honestly, there was like this shift I felt, and it was like about a block down the street. It was really close and it was huge. And it was just going across the sky, and you're seeing all these colors. It looked like fireworks and sparkles and just everything in there.
That's so wild.
Don't know
I've
how
never
to describe it. There's grid lines, and it looked like a net at the same time. It's very hard to explain that because it's like something you just have to see. And then it just moves really slowly and then just blinked, like a blink, and it was gone.
Wow. Now, you weren't the only one who saw it, right?
Yeah. So my sisters and my mom saw it. And we all went inside to tell, like, my other family members, and even though all of us saw that, they're like, even they didn't even believe us. Like I don't think they believed us. Like, are you serious? How many people have to see this for you to believe it? Like, why would we lie to you?
Yeah. So, oh my gosh. So that's so amazing. And I feel like sometimes when we see these ships, or you see like these, you know, well, you saw just a variety of different things. You saw orbs, colors, grids, sparkles, fireworks. Like it's like you saw the whole gamut of possibility from the galactics. And I feel like that's a massive activation. I think whenever any of us see something like that, it is activating our DNA. It's activating something within us. It's awakening. So I feel like that was definitely a major activation point for you on your journey. I'm curious. I want to let the audience, we've got quite a few people in the audience here right now. Do you want me to show them your video so that we can kind of go into that, because it's going to like blow their like socks off. And I'm sorry for you guys on the audio later. If you're listening in iTunes or on Spotify, you're going to have to come over and watch the video to see this. You will hear the light language though through it. So guys, I'm going to show you one of her videos. Let me just pull it up here. Let me find out, where is it? Okay. Okay. So we're going to be looking at the light language galactic activation of her star family portrait channeling. And this is time lapse art. Okay, guys? So enjoy.
Kivenia tueka ayu kani te esua ta ala anatala ewa ta asuene kia tu urakna krone per krani sivru utarat setre irashna tuetama prepi asiu tuem imkam josekia prohodne kraje sivurno mashpera vatjo tsuyanze pre idin durutuarna atararasia bramuzimia pro sivramatu kola vakla anekla ir tukurna da siverna atuleva tiena Brabierni ishe vravio to oderamatalatas. Nel nota varepet averesha to epan. Yeris judueshin ye krnakala through de veraniet. Zedrazu de genet truma jeverana. Preir nuurna bramuzi veraniet arata alutuere. Prohusi herna cruesion. Graduetiki creire nature al shotwaje. Charge kiejun oquam ye equaya. Quene kia quea so quana. Tiarata ala
That one would probably be connected, actually. You know how, like, the portal on it, where you can see, like, the ships coming out? It feels like a similar energy to that.
Tu su qua jeven hemjan drusja travulata, pre isu guire, ma baba kadar skroto is klaunjo, pirut injit ungala bakalchi grau ki eskol ukar aik karya perkur ensk askl ot amber kruis ki pirut sko oto ketse, skurti ingram zum tam tiet osh al il unsk al I lokur emberdi sk un raisk aj kurti enet kanaria tutue, prabiet tsetset jo omajet enjet otar batjet unjeter tragit sarardi si vevet uatbaju tutun jen kunjun jotuch zot or ni ar ni dra as kutra borkramri ekurni inchik skur yata usk ruk in ask ruk in it ar ni ekar urut enutjete pra or na erna kila kurudi para burkren chutore de krabadirjan tutsu shetosjim henjan tukujavasya pra wodi merne erno uradu erni bruta yodotsan kod ni jetrasu piarjen yesutuije tuija auja voima kaupa kum apupe akum akala ylek el puku abala kulma kalele puku neke irku braba elek puku akachko
I'm actually drawing this being right now. Looks Pleiadian. This kind of reminds me of Nicole. On my screen?
So ye you kum you che ne auto anya chunim ir na azut so rin jidrasu ya quere kim quad el khotnu til ala salasla ila ulla magelana jo eve waba ayowa makacha tukuche kienze uzukwacha so quaji kinchen zu quatze el durata clat klunchi che chalish rasu chiara gamalika tasho mierkni diskramujo prebiozuko parasiel anamatzeta saladionzo tramuzeta preso malaria jetjen jendu jevelamacho travasilati tasuata euro kuroda pasio senanyan zedesio tefania Namagio Zendresian Tanamajet Unien Manchen Consata. Se piace di viose, piacque mancunian conjet separasu, la leslai li clum cloche, leve la quille vangole engol all'escol alla tacalante, tela tueve l'embaruto alla varalia taratu la valaniel, la calazzo quote sicelenin, la dotuletia sola. Selania la dan chuzura sovoro doeva. Sion che su quacem cizza jevenio ramozutinana. La lania lo tue piaba su kirni irnata jun sevejo jetan chuk jefto kotori ibiabo. Lelani elevash pedanir namaksh gdayushke pieranichto ureverenia sevekto namakodia zandravasi levanir namashta espidan kalamanya.
Okay. I didn't realize you guys could hear us in the background. That was a total fail on my end. So yeah, they heard us talking about my hair and your skin.
Oh, that's okay. Whatever.
That's all right. Yeah. So that's so funny. Sorry. There's my Canadian sorry coming out. But I hope you guys really enjoyed that. That is what I saw when I looked at your Instagram, and then I saw you were doing these, you just show like a minute of the video. So I was like, oh, I got to find her YouTube channel. And you had the full video, and I was like, wow, this is just so amazing. It was very activating for me. I had messages coming in after watching some of your videos. I started listening to it over and over. It's very, very activating, because what I love about the video is that you're stimulated not just by the sound of the light language transmission and the way the codes are speaking to the heart, and also not just visually from the actual picture that you're drawing, but the way the light colors come in and then they flash out. And I know that's just a time-lapse recording of you doing the artwork, but it's just stunning the way it all comes out, right? Like, I mean, what do you guys in the audience think? Like, let me know. But so how did you kind of get into your artwork? Like, how did that all really start for you?
Well, I've always been interested in drawing since I was very young. But I didn't really start doing artwork of like beings until after I started channeling. But main things that I first started off with was like fairies and elves and stuff because I was obsessed with that. So I just loved anything fantasy or beautiful, and so I wanted to draw that. So that started my interests. But as soon as I started channeling, I had a lot more creative inspiration, sort of like I had this activation of energy, and I felt very connected to source, to that creative source. And so all the things that like I'm drawing now, I don't really think about what I'm drawing. I'm just experiencing the drawing. I'm part of that drawing, and so that's kind of how it started for me.
That's so incredible. I mean, it's amazing. When you sent me my drawing and I opened it up in the morning, I like almost jumped out of my bed. I was like, whoa. And I'm like, wow. And that was just like super cool. And I had back in June in one of my Akashic sessions, I was told that more of my more star family was going to be making itself known to me. I've obviously been connecting with the Pleiadians they're like the easiest ones for me to connect with. But I had been connecting with others, but they're like, it's good. This year you're going to start to experience more. And it was just really cool that you were able to pick up on the Syrian energy coming through. And then of course the blue avians. And I love that. I think it's just a beautiful way to activate other people and other star seeds. It's a beautiful way. It's another beautiful service to offer people, to offer them a channeling through your art for them to actually have in their home. I love it. I love it. I think it's beautiful. You've got an incredible gift, and I really wanted more people to see your work and what you're doing. So what are some of the messages that you've been receiving lately through the artwork and?
Well, mostly just be present, be in the moment, and be creative. Just enjoy, and don't be too serious is another thing. And just play. Like, don't make life too serious. That's mainly what they've been trying to get across to me anyway.
Mm-hmm. Now, I just saw one of your recent Instagram posts. It was another commissioned artwork for a gentleman, and that was really interesting. And you got his name, the guide's name came through, and a really beautiful channeled message off of that. It's incredible. There's a lot of help coming our way to help awaken and bring in a lot of love frequency and light codes to, I think, uplift humanity and as well give us the courage to activate ourselves more to the forefront.
Yeah, like with my guides and the beings that have been coming through, like it really feels like to me they're trying to teach us to be playful and creative. And I feel like with all the spiritual stuff, that we can be a little bit too serious and think it has to be done in a certain way, and that's not true. I think that we need to lighten up a little bit and let go and just kind of just see where it takes you. Like where's your passion take you, and you can kind of see the unfoldment of that when you do that. That's something that they've, in a big way, I wouldn't be able to do what I do at all if I didn't allow myself to a certain extent to step back and just let it be there and not judge it.
Yeah. Well, let's get into one of the beings that's come to you recently. I'm going to bring up the artwork, guys. I'm going to show you here. I'm going to bring it up in front of our screens. And I'm going to bring up the white mantis, Autumn, that this was one of her recent oops. Okay. There we go. This is one of her recent drawings that she's done. And she actually, what was so interesting was, let me move this over. Oops, wrong one. Let me just kind of get this guy and move him over so that you can see Autumn. You guys don't really need to see me. But basically, this mantis that you've got here drawing, you showed this to me right after the reading. And before you showed it to me, this is exactly what I saw in my mind. I saw the dome. I saw the all the white portals that you've got here. So do you want to kind of take everyone through what this drawing was all about?
So I was actually doing a meditation the night before, and I had seen this image of this huge praying mantis, like a queen or something, like she was a queen, and she's pure white, and just the energy of her was so magical, and there was just like this power there and it was very familiar. And so it kind of stemmed from this meditation, this energy that I connected to, and tried to relay some of that energy into the drawing that I felt with her. And in the background of the drawing, where you can see a light above his head, is actually your consciousness looking into his consciousness. And all the little portals, the lights around, are actually collective consciousness of the mantis beings and our consciousness. Whomever is looking into this picture is sort of like reflecting consciousness or awareness into each other. So it's also like he's inviting you into their collective energy for healing and awakening.
That's beautiful. Now, what's also really cool is the right hand is kind of going into a white, it looks like it's part of their cloth, like their dress, but it also looks like it's another portal or vortex. What's that about?
So a lot of the drawings, like, I don't know where it's going to go exactly or how it's going to develop, but all the portals just represent in some way the connection that you have with them and their level of awareness. But I think everything in that drawing, to sum it up, is really is contact and being a conscious, aware being, that we are one, that we are connected.
Okay, I love it. I think it's beautiful. So I'm going to now show the intuitive woman, because I think this one's really beautiful as well. This is just gorgeous. The colors, everything. Well, I mean, anything purple and deep purple. And I just love the indigo blue lights, like even her earrings. I'm like, her jewelry is fabulous.
You notice I have like blue and purple in like a lot of my drawings because I love those colors.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's so powerful. So are those wings kind of coming up behind her? Okay. So take us through this one.
So she kind of represents, for me, I think, is intuition and also the Elohim consciousness. I actually know very little about that, but that's the energy that came through for me, and it felt very knowledgeable and self-aware, and it's being that representing that energy and being fully present in your I am presence.
Wow. So what I'm loving is there's also like this, I just love the depth and dimensions to your drawing. Like there's so many aspects here that are like just how much her crown chakra is totally open to the galaxy, almost in a, like there's light language around a halo into the galaxy, which is so beautiful. Mm-hmm. And then down across her chest, is that Earth and the moon or the scale? What is that? Like, that is just gorgeous.
Thank you. So it represents, like, I feel like some form of dimension within ourselves, a level of awareness of how we see ourselves, I think. And this is kind of just what I'm getting right now. And I think it's the moon. I actually don't even know sometimes what I'm drawing or what it is specifically, but it feels like to me it's like it's the movement of energy. It's the movement of awareness again.
Okay. Well, to everyone out there, that is the art. That is just a couple of images that I brought up. You guys can go over to her Instagram, Galactic Activations, YouTube. The links are in the description below, so you can find her easily. So please go check her out, follow her work. But right now, do you want to go into a transmission? Do you want to do a light language transmission for us? Give us some light codes, activate us all. I'm going to mute my mic and I'll let you kind of go through it, and you just do your thing. And we don't know how long this is going to go for. It's your show right now. So you do you.
All right. Okay. Walau tuella na diaranir, tunga barabagaliano ruti bravosti bremekuriti yara kalamakroda. Bravalia taramosti benana kola baranir ni kitesku epetiara. Iarutu emekaratia stemaru de bieranir. Shubarabuala magarita yuskala langaraiskariaras. Bronu pala ali, tere shut hure me pride, the ravux cry irak mogura magara. Brokota ashkene ella kurunama alla. Kuala nani la kurati iskala kulam ambaramutu iren ingar du iskat alap orun uma la nani il dueshin han amashkul am ashki ila makuri imakut stada huste beredish kambure bekendere kira nachu kwachin zamkar ut gebramakot ibrini gitken ruti ingere iskurat imirakot imicho be machodore nia turut ingere iskot mokuri ebramot iskuru nibi finger shitewa yamakuchin yangwa chin dar uskin ga yochin kara atiar huskanda chu anya chuntunya Yarut uji mana buruti ingorutu uye prama uye marama kari ire. Jutu e chom kuje marama kore parama chu uni malatu injera puru padari drure te ine pauro no umara ti ire ni ire te nure si umara ti parama ure mati ure nesh tamba gonjento. Yabra pashto ella magalle lan alula kole gole ungole gole enakal ile kurishkal ala kule makali ela kuyeresha. Kuma makachar ronu tu ela pekua ko kushke Puruno makala ala motu ule kale lugula kali yambruber amrabuya borsto tu kel angal akul ile ke chikal ol aka yala ol meka il olo ka unduri shkolo to kami bera ka iru ko ai shkolo to ingra beri iru sturu do uru to iru to sturu to imbra butur indira chatto madanja toruni mama duinya pamango ira nure ma shetara Sudu im habu abzudu ajana tuweke yakuwe yakado uyasapa yoeta yawa ya nenya no sikira ni oro nduru urudu ursta benya rudu ibaramu ama lelanu urudu urana makali galamogul amashkote eshka aji unum maguire na machoto eshka Aquel akule kalalu kalamakul elamakule chukotue alakude makajutue lananen ulam alosto olamachala la chila yanyo tue juwa ya yau kue ya kano kue ya kayu kana ya la nata sira tue ya nakayue mayo dashikatayu tekira tayura kira uri tira tore inda uri namakaira uri shurit uri ingeri duitam aju duina popor tu ibara moto Yalana kala jelani elevanier. We thank you, garamagaste espitan elevanier. Bastue.
Oh, wow. Oh. Is it emotional for you, like when the frequencies like that come through? I would think that there's so much of that vibration that's so loving that it really touches you.
Yeah. There's a lot of times where I'll get really emotional, but sometimes I just feel like this really, really, really floaty feeling where afterward it's kind of hard to stay grounded, like in 3D. So it kind of feels like I'm floating above my body and even the colors, like when I open my eyes, the colors look kind of different, a little brighter.
So I got some messages through that. Did you get any messages that you wanted to share, or?
It felt like really they wanted to really just project and to give that energy. So for me, like instead of like listening and trying to translate, I was just kind of allowing it to come through this time.
Okay.
So you can definitely interpret it. And
Okay. So I'm going to ask you guys in the audience if you felt this. Did your heart chakra feel like it was spinning? I felt so much energy in my heart chakra. Like it's almost like there was this vortex spinning energy around the heart. And the first message that I got that came through was hope to continue to hold hope for humanity, to not be discouraged by anything that we're seeing right now. And that I felt like we all got, that we were receiving heart codes and upgrades that were strengthening the heart field. Yeah. Almost like giving it a new, more codes and a strengthened structure or strengthened field to give you the strength to be where we need to be at this moment with everything that's happening.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense to you guys in the audience. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. So 1 foot and 5D, Alara, you saw them reaching for our hands. Lee Barker, heart rate went to 110. Okay, you guys also, Lucia, heart and third eye, throat. Yes, majorly felt it in my heart. Lee, you said the hope, you got that too. Sutterbug, you got the image of the inside of a temple. Very big. Okay, cool. Unity, it was uplifting. Blue 813, I got very sleepy, very peaceful. That's great. That's awesome. So yeah, there's I felt it in my heart. It was definitely a speeding up. I felt it wasn't anxiety. It was just more of like I felt like, wow, there's something activating in my heart right now.
It kind of feels like something's trying to pop out of your chest a little bit. Like there's something that kind of wants to come up or be expressed. A lot of times with light language, I notice it'll kind of feel similar to like this density, and you can almost feel that density being shifted out. And so there's a slight discomfort, but not exactly. It's just like this weight, and you can kind of feel it flip or shift. Yeah. And then after you kind of can feel this like softness. I kind of experienced that a lot.
Absolutely. So this is this is beautiful, and I think this is a really great time for us to kind of mention, since we're talking about all of this, guys, the ascension symptoms have been a little bit intense lately, I think. Autumn and I were just kind of talking about this before the show. Curious for any of you in the audience, drop this in the chat right now, what ascension symptoms you've been feeling. For me, I've been feeling like, well, first of all, dreams have been extremely vivid, very much feeling like I'm on a mission. And I feel very exhausted when I wake up in the morning. Like I feel heavy. Like I just, oh no, I don't want to get out of bed yet. Like I just want to keep sleeping. Like don't wake me up now. What have you been feeling lately with all the different energies that are kind of hitting our planet right now?
Well, nauseous, really nauseous all the time. Sensitive to food and smells. Yeah, like that's been intensified. Like I always feel kind of like about ready to throw up or something. But I do feel like that's like the energy raising up, and also kind of like a form of like something needing to be expressed, or some form of channeling that could come through, or yeah, that's what's been going on with me.
Yeah, like the body's having to catch up to all the energetic upgrades we're moving through and all the shifts. And I know someone just said here, heart palpitations. That has been really common. I've been seeing that a lot. A lot of people have been saying that. Have you experienced heart palpitations at all?
Yeah, a little bit, actually. My ears, even. Like some things with my ears.
Interesting. Now you're saying like your symptoms almost feel like you're like, am I pregnant? You know, like these are all the symptoms that a pregnant woman would sense. And it's very interesting because I feel like many of us are birthing new realities through our raised consciousness. So it would make sense that for, you know, and I'm sure the men too may feel it. They of course wouldn't know what that feeling is like, but you could be getting nauseous. You could be kind of experience those very fertile beginnings of a new reality being created. And yeah, that makes a lot of sense for those of you who may be feeling that. We're all participating in creating the new Earth timeline by focusing on our healing, by focusing on raising our vibrations and clearing out the old traumas and bringing things that we haven't wanted to look at to the surface so they can be cleared. Like all of that's important work right now. There was something else that I wanted to ask you. You know, one of the messages I think that you've been receiving too overall from your guides is the importance of being the calm in the storm, being the stillness. Do you want to elaborate on that for the audience?
Yeah, well, pretty much in everything that I do and in just life, it's really important to remain calm no matter what's going on outside your reality. And if you feel like overwhelmed by what's happening out there, it just means it's time to go inside and start asking yourself questions and be present with you. But yeah, just relax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's important. I think, remember guys, peace is the highest level of consciousness before enlightenment on the consciousness scale. If you can find peace in all of the chaos, I can't even begin to express to you the level of work you're doing for humanity just by cultivating a stillness within you. Like that vibration, when you're holding that vibration, you are able to, what's the word I'm looking for? Even out the negative levels of consciousness, anything that's kind of destructive, to like, I think it's like 10 million people, just you as one person. When you can hold the vibration of peace, you're balancing out 10,000 people who are in a destructive level of consciousness. So it's very helpful. You are very powerful. You can do a lot. Now we've got this 12/21 portal coming up in like 2 weeks, 13 days. And we're really excited. And I have a really big announcement for you guys that I haven't told you all yet. So I did tell you all that I'm going to be offering a Starseed technology activation class that launches on the 21st. For all of you who've signed up, if you've paid, you are in the class. Do not worry. We have all your emails. But in addition to that, Autumn and I are collaborating on an activation for all of you guys. And I'm just so honored to be able to work with you, Autumn. And we were chatting and we thought it would be really cool if her and I collaborated by mixing her artwork and light language transmission with channeled message that I receive, and we're going to put it into an activation video for you that's going to air on both of our channels. You'll be able to see it on both of our channels, and we're going to air it on the December. Well, maybe should we do it 1 or 2 days before the portal so that people who are in time zones ahead of us, like in Australia, can get it on their day? Yeah, maybe we'll do it the day before on the Sunday, which would be the Monday for those of you in like Australia, Japan, Indonesia, all of that. And we're going to create something for you guys that is a 12/21 portal activation. So I'm super, super excited to see what we come up with and the messages that come through. It is going to be wild. We'll put a little music to it too through the channeled messages. And so keep an eye out for that. Autumn, if people want to get artwork from you or want to get a reading from you, how do they reach you?
Well, I've noticed actually people just message me through Instagram instead of through Gmail. It actually seems kind of easier that way. They'll just message me through Instagram, and then I'll respond to their request.
Okay, awesome. So if any of you guys would like a artwork commissioned, or you just want to get a reading, a channeled reading from her, you can do that by going over to her Instagram page. Again, the link is in the description below. Thank you to Alara and Lucia who've been dropping the links in the live chat. Please, everyone, go and support Autumn. She needs more eyes on her. I feel like I'm like a little mother hen here, you know, pushing my little bird out of the nest, because, you know, it's so great. You've gifted me with some beautiful healing and activations, and I just want to get more people, not just for you, the eyes on your work, but I just think it's important. I think what you're doing is very activating, and a lot of people are going to benefit from it. So guys, share her work. Let more and more people know about her. And yeah, if you guys do get any artwork from her and you're on Instagram, tag her in the story so she can share it. If you guys tag me in that story, I'll share it so more people can see it. We'll just get more eyes on your work.
Thank you, Nicole.
Yeah. So do you have any like final messages you'd like to leave the audience before we go? Is there anything you'd like to leave, a little message you'd like to leave on?
Well, not really. I just feel like just be present and have fun. And lots of
Perfect.
love.
Yeah. I think it's so important. I think, you know, we were talking about this in the alchemy program today, like just a lot of lightheartedness, playfulness, not taking yourself so seriously. We really need to kind of move into that, because things are really serious right now. And I think if you can take yourself out of that for just even a few moments of your day and have fun and be carefree and be really playful, it's very uplifting to your vibration, and it allows you to manifest and create in a much more powerful level. So thank you everyone for being on the show. Thank you, Autumn, for joining me and being so courageous and brave to come on. You did wonderful. Guys in the audience, I love you so much. I'll be back with you next week. Stay safe, and we'll see you soon. Wait, keep your eyes out for the 12/21